All right. Well, thanks again for joining me today, everybody, for another edition of Spincast. Today, we've got a couple of representative students from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Welcome, guys. With us today, we have David Romero and Shane Mcmanus. David heads up the Rainbow Six Siege team, and Shane is the head of the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate team on campus there at UNC. So again, first off, I want to thank you for joining us. I sincerely do appreciate you guys coming on. How are you both doing today?
Doing all right, it's a very, very cloudy day.
Yeah, surviving.
Surviving. That's, I think, the key word right there. Just get by the next day in these difficult times. But with that being said, I'm going to just start off and let you guys talk a little bit about who you are, how you got to the campus of UNC, how you got into esports in general, and obviously how you got into the position you're in. So if you don't mind, David, if you can start us off with your journey to where you are today.
Let's see. UNC was actually my last choice because I was a big egoed high schooler and I thought I could get into Harvard or Duke or something, and they all kicked me to the state and said, no, thank you. So UNC was where I got in. I was actually suite mates with Shane for my freshman year, which is how we met. And he got into the esports club first, and I was curious about it. So I waited on a year, and he told me about his experiences, and so I wanted to join. And so I ended up joining in my sophomore year, and I became the Rainbow Six Siege head from there.
Cool. Now, were you playing Rainbow Six prior to going to UNC, or no, you got introduced to it there?
I played it in the latter half of my junior year of high school. My best friend at the time taught me it. I was moving on from Counter-Strike because the market had crashed, so I couldn't sell any more skins and make more money. So that was a little sappy high school kid who wanted money. So I started playing Rainbow Six because it actually offered me a challenge, and that's how I ended up.
Gotcha. How about for you, Shane? Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
So a little similar to David, I kind of thought I was going to go a little higher at the time and ended up deciding on UNC after getting accepted in. I actually had been playing Smash, I don't know, since like Brawl came out, so like a really long time. And when I came into UNC, I found out that there was a Smash 4 scene here, which was the game that was on the Wii U before Ultimate came out. And so I started like coming to events and everything, and I ended up reaching out to esports trying to figure out like how I can get involved. And I found out that the person at the time was leaving. So I ended up taking over freshman year, helping out, and then I kind of just stuck with it, stayed with Smash specifically. Ultimate came out for the Switch, so I started leading that. And obviously people like David and a few of my other friends started getting on the board, and we just kind of stayed from there.
Got it. Now, you both said that it wasn't your first choice, UNC. You know, UNC is not easy to get into. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
Just joking. So talk a little bit about the scene there on campus. Obviously, you're not on campus now with the pandemic and everything else, but prior to, really what the scene is like on campus in terms of how many events do you have typically, how many people come on, how many different teams you have, things like that. Shane, if you could open us up with that, tell us a little bit more about how it's like there from an esports perspective at UNC.
So I think, and David can agree with me on this, like our esports club honestly is really huge. People sometimes don't realize it just because there are so many different games. There are so many small little communities throughout. So like I know we try to run esport events at least once a month. We try to run like a decent sized one. And obviously we will run a game fest, which is a very large event, has all the games together. We try to run one in the fall, one in the spring. And that just as many games as they can come out. And normally, I don't remember what our last numbers are, but they're pretty big. For Smash specifically, I've been trying to run about 2 events a week, or at least 2 events every other week. One being a paid bracket, which would have people from UNC, people from like NC State, the Raleigh area, people from all over coming out to compete. And then normally I'd have what I call like a Smash Fest, which is just it's a free bracket only for like UNC students, just for everyone to come out. You can relax, you can practice everything. And that normally has at least 20 people. The spare changes, it really depends on how busy it is. Sometimes we'll have like 70 people, other times we'll have 30. It just depends. And I don't know how many different groups do it, but I know like for Smash, we even have like our own Discord, so we can be more like a big family unit.
Yep.
And even that, I think we've gotten to the point where there's at least 120 students that are in that Discord that play the game, that will occasionally come on and say, hey, when's our next event? Hey, can I play Wi-Fi with anybody? So it's a pretty decent size. We try to keep it as busy as possible because honestly, for a lot of people, it's like their outlet.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I still play. I tell my kids all the time because it's a stress reliever for me. I play Call of Duty, so it's fun to go around shooting people. David, tell me a little bit about the different game platforms. How many different games do you guys play, and how many different teams do you have within all of those platforms, if you know those numbers?
So let's see. If I remember correctly, for our competitive teams, we have Overwatch, we have Junior Varsity, which is on like a plat diamond level. We have the varsity team for Overwatch, which is more of a masters like ish level. We have League of Legends. I think we have like 2 or 3 teams of League of Legends.
Yeah, at least got a few.
Teams like dominating really hard in most of the leagues. Dota as well. We have a team. They dominate pretty hard. Let's see. We have Rainbow Six Siege for me. Obviously, we're kind of like a plat level team. There's Counter-Strike, which does really well for how recently they were started as a team.
Good.
We have Rocket League, which again competes like on like national levels, and they do fairly well for themselves. I don't think they did as well this year. Am I missing anything, Shane?
No, I think that's about it for actual competitive teams. The rest of them are normally like individuals.
Who are some of the bigger rival schools that you guys either play against competitively or like to scrim against?
Let's see. For Overwatch, I definitely really like to scrim NC State.
Okay.
NC State is one of the top teams for Overwatch in the region at the very least. For us, we do UNCC. They're really like high diamond level players, and so we like to scrim them for Rainbow Six Siege. Counter-Strike doesn't see anybody as rivals because they mostly dominate in the region, so they don't really care. Good.
So talk about the social aspect a little bit. I think a lot of people will look at gaming in general as, hey, you're kind of doing it on your own. And obviously right now with the pandemic, you kind of have to do it on your own. But once college life is going on, you talked about a lot of different events, Shane, in respect to, you have a couple of things per week for some things. You do once a month probably for a big LAN center type event. You've got a massive event every other semester, every one per semester, et cetera. Talk about the social aspect of it and what that brings out from the students to be able to congregate and get together during these events.
Well, honestly, I feel like a lot of people don't realize this until they're kind of part of it, but those are really like your big friend groups. Those are some of your best friends end up coming from either people that you met online through gaming or people that you met in person from it, because especially depending on the game, you're meeting up with these people at least once a week. You're playing games together, you're getting to know each other, and it just builds a bond over time. I know for us, like we run the Smash Fest because it's kind of thing like, hey, come out. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter anything. We just all want to play, have fun, kind of act like school doesn't exist for a little bit and get away from all of it. And over time, you really do. You meet new people, and even whether you're competing or not, you get to know them, and a lot of them you end up becoming friends. And next thing you realize, you'll have all these like side group chats or stuff like that of people that are saying, hey, it's over the summer. Can we all meet up and go hang out or stuff like that? And it could be 1 month ago to multiple months ago. You guys are just players that you had just met. I know David, and he can speak more about this, like Overwatch and Rocket League, like they'll go out to dinner together and just all get food together and everything. And people don't realize it really is like that becomes such a main friend group, and you meet some great people along the way, and it becomes more than just competing. It gets to a point where you might have started because, I want to compete in this game, or I really enjoy this game. And it gets to the point where you don't even care about competing. You just want to go hang out with your friends.
Right. David, tell me a little bit about the dinners.
Well, my team definitely, we have dinners. We go out for drinks together. For my birthday, Shane was there as well, but like my whole team came out for my birthday. We all had shots together. It was really fun. I actually went into one of the local restaurants on Franklin one time, and I ran into the Rocket League team just having dinner, and they invited me to sit down with them and talk. So that was fun.
Cool.
I've also been to the Overwatch dinners where they like that. Most of these dinners, like they just relax, but they also talk about their game plans for when they're going to compete,
Yeah.
like what their ideas are, who they think they're going to have trouble against, who should they prep for, etc.
Right. Well, that sounds very, very similar to what you would see with traditional sports, quite frankly, right? You get baseball guys that are going to hang out together a little bit more normally because they have a lot more in common together based on that's what they do. So obviously that's awesome to hear that it's very, very similar in the esports vein where, hey, this is what we like to do. So certainly we're going to hang out a little bit more, have a little bit more in common in terms of what we're going to talk about and strategize moving forward and how we compete. So that's fantastic. Let's talk about the school side of things for a moment. From taking esports and kind of moving on, a lot of people look at it as you're probably spending a ton of time gaming and how are your grades and how are you going to get a job and things of that nature. Talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about what your future plans are. You may not have them fully defined as this is exactly what I'm going to do, but just some thoughts as to, hey, I know I play games and you're probably going to play games even beyond college, but what's your future look like work-wise, potentially?
David, do you want to start this one?
Sure.
Right.
I mean, for me in particular, what I see, I'm doing a psychology BA right now.
Awesome.
And a lot of teams that I notice, especially like the big name one is Astralis from Counter-Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Their biggest issue was they would psych themselves out. And so they actually hired a psychologist to assist them with getting through gameplay and understanding why they were failing even at the top level when they were like the best of the best. And that's kind of where I want to be, more of like not on a team, but just like helping the team advance, whether it be from like an analyst position, a coach position, or from even a psychologist position.
Got it. And there are a tremendous amount of openings in current space for that. Imagine as this continues to grow, that would only get larger. How about you, Shane? Any thoughts?
So I'm actually trying to pursue medicine, specifically med school as an end goal with trauma medicine. So at the moment, it's really, kind of completing college, preparing for MCAT, going, probably going to do either a master's program or like PA school to kind of get a better basis before actually going into med school. However, I know I'm definitely not leaving like the TO kind of like run-in tournament thing. It's something I really enjoy. So I'm going to see if to the best of my ability I can try to juggle the two.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm pushing more towards medicine, but like if I have free weekends, I'm definitely wanting to kind of have like a side, either hobby or even like as a job is just running brackets.
Yep. Understood. And like I said, I think you find the time for whatever the reason. For me, like I said, it's a stress relief. If it's a passion of yours, obviously you're going to have downtime, even though you're busy. Looking forward to doing those types of things. So I certainly can appreciate and understand that. So, but guys, we are just about up on time. So again, I do really want to thank you both. Sounds like you guys have bright futures ahead of you. It sounds like you've got a pretty cool club going on there at UNC. It sounds incredibly massive. It sounds like you guys got a good amount of participation, which I like to hear. I think the more inclusive things like this can be, the better it is for the student life in general. So again, I really do sincerely appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up maybe next fall once things hopefully are a little bit back to normal and see how things are going. So once again, have a great day and stay safe.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.